Hello there, David Breslow back here with you. In today's mental golf training tip, I want to talk to you about the power of thought. Thinking traps are something that many golfers get caught up in because we have this thing called a memory in our right side of our brain, and memory just kicks in like the button on a VCR. Something happens, some scenario happens, occurs in front of you, and then that play button gets hit, and if it's a negative scenario that triggers a negative tape, that tape will just begin to play, and all sorts of thinking is taking place. All sorts of thinking is also taking place while golfers are trying to play the game of golf. It's important to separate when to think and when not to think. When to think is when you're preparing to hit the golf shot. Standing in a dress position is not the time to think. Here's a cool little exercise I did with some baseball players actually in a gym. I was supposed to do a workshop with some high school ball players. There was probably about 300 of them in the gym. What I had them do, I took about 20 of them. I put 10 on one end of the gym, 10 on the other end of the gym, and I had one end sprint towards the other. And we timed them. We just timed like a 30-yard sprint inside the gym. And we timed them, and they ran fast. The times were really good. And then I had them start over again. The 10 who ran went back to their starting position, 30 yards away. And then I had the other 10 holding up a sign with a mathematical equation on it. And this time I asked the first 10 to sprint as fast as they could while they were looking up at the sign and trying to figure out the mathematical equation that was up on the sign that the other person was holding. Interesting thing happened. All of their times were slower by a lot. And my message to them was, here is what thought does while you're performing. The human body cannot perform optimally when thoughts are running through the system. It's not just up here, it's running through the entire system. When thoughts are running through the system, they create obstacles, they create buffers, so that the body cannot function quickly and smoothly and powerfully like it wants to. And these players, these ball players, proved it. The two races they did proved. One time was super fast. The second time, when they were thinking, trying to figure out the math problem while they were running, showed them that their times dropped appreciably. And these people were not only ball players, but they were track, the track team was there as well. And the next day, the track team won a meet that they were in, and they broke something like 7 or 8 records that day because of the things we spoke about. We spoke about more than that. But that was very impressive to them to understand that during the process of playing the game, so here's where I'm bringing this back to you, during the process of a dress position and hitting the golf ball, all thoughts must begin to quiet down and, or even better, cease. What is there left to think about if you've done your pre-shot routine properly, which I can talk about in another video. But if you've done your routine properly, there's nothing left to think about. You've taken care of all of that stuff. That's what the purpose of that routine is, to clear all that out. Get it clear, get it straight, forget it. Then you drop it. Once you're in a dress position, there is nothing to think about. You may have a swing key, which is fine, but the rest of the thoughts that rumble through, too many golfers are like an airline pilot. Checklist, 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 checklist. That's great if you're flying the plane I'm in, but it's not great on the golf course. You've got to be in what we call a non-thinking state over the golf ball. That's where the trust begins. Then you let your body do what you've trained it to do. Leave it alone. That's what it wants. It doesn't need your help. You've set it all up to be successful already. Leave it alone. So these are the thinking traps that many golfers get into. The key is for you, think of yourself almost like a light switch. The light switch is in one position when you're thinking, and then as soon as you cross that line, you step into a dress position, that's when that thinking stops. And as simple as a suggestion to yourself. You can literally say, all thought ceases now. I have one swing key, that's all I need to think about. A comment like that, or a comment like, hey, I took care of everything I need to think about in my pre-shot routine. There's nothing left for me to do. Try one of those two statements, or come up with something on your own. See what feels comfortable. Make sure you have that line from preparation to a dress position. When you take that step from behind the ball, for example, that's the line. When you take that step, that's when you stepped out of preparation position into non-thought position. Use those symbols. They will help you. Dave Breslow, good to be back with you. Talk with you soon. Please come over and visit me at www.mentalgolfcoaching.com. And as always, leave a message here in cyberspace. Would love to get into a chat with you. Talk to you soon. Take care.